Hi fairies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Fifi. It's so nice to have you here. I hope you stay a while. Welcome to the first official video of 2026. How are we feeling? I'm really excited. Basically, today we are going to be tier ranking every single book that I read in the year 2025. I did in fact read 115 books, 116 because I read the same book twice, which was very interesting of me because I'm not a huge rereader. But yeah, honestly, let's just get right into it. So let's talk about the tiers that we have and that we are going to be using to rank all these books. Right at the top, we have Soul Book, which is like a book that I love so much. I would take with me for the rest of my life, and I literally basically would want to be buried with this book. Like, I want this book to follow me and haunt me for the rest of my days, essentially. Then we have Loved. Like, I really love this. It wasn't the most spectacular thing ever, but I really, really loved it. And then the next one, we have A Good Time. Like, it was a very good time, a fun time. I enjoyed myself, but I didn't, love it as much as I would have liked to necessarily, or as much as I was promised, maybe. The fourth tier is, well, yeah, I mean, it was okay, like, not bad, but like, nothing really amazing, nothing to really write home about. Then we have Yikes. Like, this was definitely not good, okay? I did not have a good time. I did not enjoy this. I thought this was a pretty bad book, and I probably would have done without reading it. Finally, we have Burn It. Because burn it, like, this book definitely did not need to exist. Definitely feels like a waste of resources, waste of paper, waste of wood, and yeah, we really could have done without ever printing or publishing this. No shade, but also like a lot of shade. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I did take the time to arrange these in the order which I read them. So starting with the first book I read this year, Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the third and final book in the Cruel Prince trilogy, and I really, really liked it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. On hindsight, I probably would give it a lower rating, but I did really like and enjoy it at the time. So I think I'm going to put it at, like, I don't know. I'll say it was a good time. It really was. Then we have these two prequel novellas for the Red Queen series that I read before I read Red Queen itself. And I think maybe that wasn't the best idea because I had no idea what was going on and what was being said and what they were trying to convey. So I'm going to put them in, like, well, like, I guess they would have been good if I knew, what was going on, but I didn't. So yeah. Then we have How the King of Elfhame Learned to Read Stories. This is a Cruel Prince novella, one that I really, really enjoyed. It basically gave us Carden's lore and his backstory. And yeah, I had a good time with it, I think I would say. Heavenly Bodies by Imani Erin. I did not like this. I think I gave this like 2.75 stars. I'm not too sure, but I really did not like it. I thought the writing was just kind of bad. It didn't feel polished, it didn't feel structured, it felt very much all over the place. I remember liking the characters, I thought they were quite personable, but I also thought there was a lot of insta love with the romance. This book has in fact now been republished by an official, publishing house. So I'm assuming they have made some edits. So maybe I would reread it at some point because I do want to continue the series. I'm very curious about where we are going. So I think I'm going to put it at, yikes, sorry. Yeah, it just wasn't good in my opinion. Then we have A Court of Thorns and Roses. You know what? I actually expected to hate this book. Like, I really did, and I did not. I had a relatively good time. It obviously wasn't the best thing ever. I think I gave it 3.5 or 3.75 stars. It didn't have the best structure, and this author very obviously has some specific literary devices that she applies over and over again. It wasn't great. It was barely even good. But I had a good time, unfortunately. Then we have Frost Blood by Ellie Blake. This is the book that I read twice this year. The first time I read it in January, I gave it 5 stars. I love this so much. And then I reread it in like August and I bumped it down to a 4 star because I read it more critically, I guess I would say. But I still really love this book. I think it's like a very typical fantasy romance, especially knowing that it came out about 10 years ago. It's one of the OG romantices, I guess you would say. But it's not even heavy on the romance, in my opinion. The romance was very much a bit of a subplot. So yeah, I really, really liked it. I think if you're looking for a very solid fantasy romance with relatively good plot and good characters, yeah, I would recommend it. So I'm going to put it at loved because I did in fact love it. When the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This is a book that I don't necessarily want to talk about. more than I have to because the author is like very, very, very problematic. So we're just going to go ahead and put it in love because I did in fact love the book. I will not be reading it and I will not be reading any more books by this author. But I can't lie, this book was really good and I did, get teary eyed at the end. Sue me. Nine Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. Mm, I can't remember much about this book. I will not say that I had a good time because I really did not have a good time. I thought the book was just all over the place and I thought that it was too predictable and at the same time lacked basic structure. So I'm going to put it in, well, like it wasn't bad necessarily, it just wasn't really good. The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. This is the second book in the Robert Landon series. I really, really liked it. I liked it a lot. I gave it 5 stars. So yeah, I think I will be giving every book in this series 5 stars because I have given three of the five, six, 7 books that are out 5 stars already. And yeah, I can't wait to continue the series. The Couple Next Door. Honestly, I remember having a relatively good time with this book. Was it like absolutely very predictable? Yes. Was it kind of bad when it comes to the writing? Yes. But I did have a good time. Like, well, what can I say? Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carton. I do have an entire video of me reading this book because it was my first time officially and actually reading a dark romance book, and I wanted to document that. So you can go check that out if you'd like. All I can say right now is burn it. I'm so sorry to all the people that love this book. Yeah, it should not have been a book. I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing, what the fuck you guys are thinking, romanticizing this book when it was basically raping her. Um, yeah, yeah. The Crow Rider. I remember really liking this book, but I also thought that it was very much tropey and the writing wasn't the best thing ever. I think I gave it 3.75 or 3.5 stars. But I think I had a good time. Uh, I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm going to put it at well because well, I don't know. Divine Rivals, loved it. 5 stars. Literally one of my favorite books ever. I love Rebecca Ross's writing. So beautiful, so enchanting, and I can't wait to read more of her discography. Legendary, the second book in the Caraval series. I had a really good time with this. I give it like 4 stars or maybe 4.5. I just enjoyed it for what it was, honestly. It wasn't the best day ever, obviously, but I had a good time. Half a Soul by Olivia Atota. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm. Honestly, I don't know. Wait, hold on, hold on. I think I'm going to move the variables up. Oh my god, wait. This is the part that I hate because I can be very indecisive, but I think this is good right now. The Lord Sosia, this is the novella that comes after the first book in the Regency Fairy Tale series. I had a good time with this, honestly. I love that it gave us some more information about the main character of the first book, the male main character. And I really liked it, honestly. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Ju. I think I liked it and I think I had a good time while reading it, but it wasn't the best thing ever. I think same goes for the sequel. I think I preferred the sequel to the first book, but like they are on the same level for me generally. Everything Has Changed by Kendra Smith. I remember not loving the writing of this book, but I think generally I had a pretty good time. I don't know. I think I'm going to put it in well because like it was okay, just nothing special, honestly. Legendborn, I had a good time. I loved how unique the world was and the magic system, and I thought that our main character was very personable and very real. And I also loved the plot. I really need to continue this series, honestly. Ruthless Vows, loved it. I didn't like it quite as much as the Divine Rivals, but I still really, really enjoyed it. Throne by Sarah Cox. Uh, yeah, well, like it was an okay book, literally just there. I have no recollection of anything that happened in it, honestly. I think I remember it followed this small town and then these people who started a pottery class and we got some information about their lives and it was cute, I guess, and it was your regular literary fiction, just nothing special by any means. Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. This was my second Annabelle Monaghan book. Like I have said in one or two videos now, I am going to give Annabelle one last chance because everybody swears to me and to God and to their mother that this author is so incredible and her writing is so beautiful. And I'm just like, it's very much like an Emily Henry knockoff, but without the depth that I think Emily Henry is able to portray in her own books, even though I'm not the biggest Emily Henry stan or fan. Yeah, I give this book 2 stars. Definitely goes in yikes, because yikes. The Hunger Games, obviously loved it. I remember watching and loving all the movies when I was younger, and I never read any of the books, so I decided to do that this year. Rebel Witch, the second book in the Heartless Hunter duology, I really liked the song. I really did. I don't think I liked it as much as the first one. I remember giving the first one 5 stars. Maybe if I reread it now, it would be less than that. But yeah, I liked it, and I did like this second book as well. So I'm going to put it. Mm, I think it was a good time. Honestly, mm, I think I'm going to put Hunger Games in a good time as well, because yeah, like it was good, just not the best book in the series. So yeah, The Rose Bargain. This was a very interesting read. I think for the most part, I liked it and I had a good time, and I thought the writing was really, really good. I thought the plot was good and the whole concept was relatively unique. It just didn't land as well as I would have liked it to, and I found myself very confused by the end. But I had a good time, I believe. Out on a Limb. I gave this book 3 stars, but I did have a good time with it. I didn't love it and I didn't find it as amazing as everyone claims it is, but I did have a pretty good time with it. A Sea of Unspoken Things. I think my favorite part about this book was the atmosphere and how evocative the writing was. I would say the characters didn't have much depth to them, as well as their whole romance. It felt very much like surface level, and I didn't care for it. But I liked the plot and I liked how it ended. So yeah, it was a good time. Out of the Woods and Out on a Limb sequel. I don't remember too much about it, honestly. I remember it was pretty okay. I just didn't care for it. So I'm going to put it in, well, because, well, like it was okay, just nothing special. I feel like I've said that over and over again. Falcons of Fire and Ice. Let's just go ahead and move that. Oh, no. Soul Book. Exactly. I loved that book. I keep talking about it. I think I've talked about it in so many videos now. I just love it so much and I think you need to read it. I just think you need to read it. I won't even tell you much about it except that it's a historical, fantastical fiction, basically about this girl who has to go on a quest to retrieve these specific falcons from a far off land to save her father from being indicted and killed. That's all you need to know. Go and read it. After I read the first Hunger Games book, I decided to read it sequentially. So I read Ballad, then Sunrise, then the final 2 books in the original trilogy. My ranking for the books in this series is like pretty unpopular, I guess I would say, because I think my favorite was definitely Sunrise on the Reaping, but I also loved Ballad. I'm going to go ahead and put Ballad in loved because I loved it. I also really loved Sunrise on the Reaping. I loved Catching Fire as well, and I think this is another unpopular opinion, but I didn't like um Mockingjay quite as much. Is that unpopular? I think that's like popular. I don't know. Anyway, I had a good time with it. It just wasn't my favorite thing ever. The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I can't remember much. I think it was an okay time. Nothing too special. Just like pretty there. Honestly, a very typical contemporary romance. I liked how unique it kind of was with the whole DNA, soulmate situation. But yeah, it was pretty regular at the end of the day. Inferno by Dan Brown. Yeah, loved this book. The 4th book in the Robert Landon series, I did skip the 3rd book, not because I didn't want to read it. I will read it very soon. I just had this one physically and I was like, why not? 10,000 Stitches. Yeah, honestly, so book. Like, this was better than the 1st book, which is crazy for me to say because I did not expect that. And the first 50% of this book, I was like, oh, this is definitely not that good. I'm not liking it as much as the first one. And then the final half or the second half just like shocked me and had me literally gasping for air. Loved it so much. So beautiful. The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I think this might be a bit of an unpopular opinion. I didn't think the writing of this book was very good, and I found that it wasn't translated. I was trying to give it the benefit of the doubt because I thought it was translated. I didn't love it. I like the story and I like obviously the theme and the commentary on Auschwitz and everything that happened, everything that went down. I just thought the writing and the portrayal of the story wasn't the best thing ever. The Little Cafe of Second Chances. This was a magical realism contemporary romance. I think this book started well enough. The writing was pretty okay. It did end up feeling a little too outlandish. It felt like we were just losing the plot as we were getting further into the book. And I was like, this is too unrealistic for me, and I didn't love it for that reason. But I still had a good time. Did I? I don't know anymore, honestly. Under One Roof, this is a literary fiction following three generations of women as they try to fix their relationship. And I really, really enjoyed it for what it was. I think I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was pretty good, and I liked the writing, and I liked the ending as well. So I think I'm going to put it in a good time because I did have a good time with it. Animal Farm. I loved this book so, so much. This is an anthropomorphist book basically giving commentary on the totalitarian government system of the Soviet Union. And I just love how it was told. I love the writing, and I thought all the characters were very intentional and very important. And I had a good time. It's like a 3 hour audiobook relatively, or maybe 5 hours actually. I give it 5 stars. I loved it so much. The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman. This is the second book in the His Dark Materials trilogy. I liked this book. I did have a good time with it, and I did get teary eyed towards the end there. I thought it was a good second book. It didn't necessarily have, second book syndrome, but it was slow at some point. I did like it more than the first book, so there's something to be said about that. The Orange Grove, I can't lie, I had a good time with this book. I thought the writing was very, very evocative. The author definitely had some specific words that she would use over and over and over again, but I enjoyed it. I didn't love the cheating, which is why I rated lower than I would have if that wasn't, in the book, but I had a good time. What can I say? The House We Grew Up In by Lisa Ju. This is in fact my fourth Lisa Ju book, and I think it's my favorite. I just loved the writing, and I love that it was basically commentary on hoarding and commentary on how we treat people for being different essentially. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I had a really good time with it. The Crow Rider, the second book in the Storm Crow duology, I had a good time. Honestly, I liked it a lot more than the first book. I did have some qualms, obviously, and it wasn't as good as I would have liked it to be. But I felt like we got a relatively good ending, and the story was very much engaging and entertaining. Then I read the first 6 books in the Mallory Towers series. This is a children's book, a middle grade book, I guess you can say. I read some of the books in this series when I was younger, and I picked it up again for nostalgic reasons, and it definitely fed me exactly what I was looking for. I just love the series so much, and I love Enid Blyton's writing. I have started another series by her that we will talk about eventually. I rated every single one of these books like highly. I think my lowest rated one was 3.75, and the highest one I gave was 5 stars. And I can't even remember which of the books I gave 5 stars. So I think I'm going to put all of them in a good time because I definitely had a good time reading every single one of these books. I actually listened to them as audiobooks because I love the audiobook narrator. Yeah, love the series so much. Then I read Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Honestly, this is in fact another soul book. I loved it so so much. I have an entire video of me reading this book because it was my first time actively and intentionally reading a high fantasy novel. And so I had to document that. Go and check that out if you'd like. I just love the writing so 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 much. I loved every single aspect of it. I love the characters. I love our sentient being that we had as a character. I loved the storytelling and how the story was told. I loved our narrator, and I loved the plot, and I loved the magic system and world of this book. I just love it so much, and I can't wait to reread it, honestly. I think I'm going to do that sometime later this year. The Thursday Mother Club by Richard Osman. I read this book for the first time last 2 years in 2024, and then I reread it last year August, and I liked it just as much. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. I just love it a lot. I think the characters are very, very real and personable, and the story is really, really engaging. The plot is really good. It's simply following these old people in this retirement home as they try to basically solve a murder. That's all I can tell you, and I just love this so much. Normal People by Sally Rooney. Yikes. I God, I can't believe people made me think this was going to be the best book of my life. I just can't believe it. The writing is so bad. The writing is so freaking bad. No structure, no point to the story, even no like basis. I am like remembering reading this book and I'm getting angry. The reason I gave this book 2 stars instead of 1 star is because at the end of the day, the drama of it all was very entertaining. Okay, these characters are so stupid, so toxic. These characters are so stupid, so toxic, and yet I was entertained. Like, what can I say? Island of Dreams. This was a Peter Pan retelling, I believe. I can't remember much of it, but I remember having an okay time reading it. I think I'm going to put it in well because like I don't know. Will I even continue the series? Is there even a point? I don't know. Blood of the Sands. I had a really good time with this book. I thought the writing was really good and I thought the romance was so hot. Definitely insta lovey and insta lusty, but like still really good. And the world is so unique, so specific, so well done and thought through. I just really liked it for what it was, honestly. The situationship, this was a NetGalley act that I randomly just got. I thought it was an okay book. It's basically a mystery romance, I guess. And it was just there, honestly. This was kind of my first real cowboy romance, and I feel sentimental for that reason towards it. I thought it was pretty good, and I did enjoy it for what it was. I did think the writing wasn't the best, and the themes that were being tackled were basically very surface level. Did I have a good time with it? I actually couldn't tell you because I can't remember anything about this book, unfortunately. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in. Well, I'm sure it was okay at the time, just nothing special. Dragon Ranch of Dawn Ridge. This was a cozy fantasy romance involving dragons. Dragons are not the main point of this book. They're basically just like side attractions, but we are following this romance and these characters as they build a relationship. And I thought it was really good. It was definitely very cozy in the sense that there wasn't much going on and it was basically a nothing book if you really think about it, but I had a really really good time with it. I think I gave it 4 stars, which was kind of crazy honestly, but what can I say? Steady Now. Yikes. This was a nothing book, but like a bad nothing book. Very insta had no point or basis. The characters were so dumb, had no actual personality to them. The writing was like Wattpad-esque, very boring, very stereotypical. I just did not have a good time with this book, unfortunately. Crown of Breads. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, my first real monster romance, and it was definitely something. Definitely something. Definitely very insta lusty, but like, why did I have a good time? Why did I eat it up? I'm going to go ahead and put it in a good time because while I had some qualms with the writing and the plot and the structure of it all, I did in fact have a good time. Love by the Book. This was a cozy fantasy romance, I guess you can say. The magic system has to do with the books, and I like that. And I thought the characters were cute and their relationship was cute and wholesome relatively. I just found that I didn't care too much about anything going on, unfortunately. So I'm going to put this in, well, because like it was okay. And I think I had an okay time reading it. I can't even remember much, but yeah. Small Words by Sadie Jones. I think I enjoyed this book for what it was. It was definitely very heavy. There were lots of mature themes and a lot of things that angered and annoyed me. But I think it showed a realistic depiction of how war comes between relationships and how war changes people. I don't want to say that I had a good time because I didn't have a good time reading it. It was very upsetting, but it was a good book. So I think I'm going to put it in a good time. 28 Summers by Ellen Hildebrand. This was my first Hildebrand book. I did not love it, okay? I thought the cheating was just so irritating. It's basically just following these two people as they have an affair across 28 summers. Like for 28 years, they are having an affair with each other, even as they get partners, even as they fall in love, have children of their own, they're still having this affair. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. EOS, this is the first book in a prequel series called Atlantis Dawn, I believe. I randomly got this book as a NetGalley arc, and I did not realize that it was a series that comes after another series. So I will have to go back and read the initial series. But I like this book a lot. I found it very interesting, regardless of any ties to another series. I thought the writing was so good. I loved the humor that was incorporated. I also loved the plot, and I love the characters. I give it 4.5 stars. Maybe it could have been lower. Maybe I would rate it a little lower if I read it now, but I loved it a lot when I did read it. So I'm going to put it in loved because I loved it. The Seventh Sister, I can't remember anything about this book. It was a NetGalley audiobook that I was given, and I can't remember anything, even though I gave it like 3.5 stars. I think it was okay. All I can remember is that it had religious undertones and it was pretty gothic and atmospheric. Yeah, I think I'm going to put it in well because, like, well, what even was it? I don't know. Strap in, yikes. I think my problem with queer contemporary romance books is that the authors feel like they have to be so heavy on the lust and the physical attraction of it all for them to prove that this queer romance is real. Like, can we get something more emotionally adept? Can we get something deeper and a little less surface level? Yeah. The Summer Swap by Sarah Morgan. I had a really good time with this book. It's basically just following this older woman who feels like she didn't live her life as well as she could have, and then this younger person who is basically going through some emotional and existential issues. Their paths cross and they basically heal each other essentially. Crown of the Dunes, I really, really like this book. Like I liked it a lot more than the first book and a lot more than I thought I would. So yeah, I can't wait for the third book. The Do Over, I remember really, really liking this book. I had a really good time with it. One of my favorite contemporary romance books. Then I continued the Mallory Towers series. I'm going to go ahead and put those again in a good time because I had a good time with every single one of them. The Apothecary's Apprentice. I had a good time with this book. I can't remember too much about it, but literally, as the title states, we are following the apothecary's apprentice. It's a bit of a mystery, but with fantastical elements and a budding romance, and I really, really had a good time with it. The Way of All Flesh, this is a historical fiction that basically follows this mystery of who is killing some prostitutes in this 1800 Edinburgh, and we follow these two characters who, have something going on when it comes to their romance, but that's like a very small subplot. We are basically just trying to figure out who is killing these women. And I really, really liked it. I love the writing. I love the incorporation of medical elements and how medicine was at that time, how women weren't taken seriously, how women's health wasn't taken seriously. And yeah, I liked it a lot. Blood on the Ice House Wall. This was one of the more unique books that I read this year. I loved how it was a mixture of so many different genres. We had a bit of sci-fi, we had obviously fantastical elements like werewolves and witches and this very weird well that is a source of power for all these creatures. And we had time travel and we had just so many different things that came together to form this very full circle moment. And yeah, I can't wait for the second book. I really enjoyed this one. I think I'm going to put it in. I had a good time with it. I had a good time. Then I started another series by Enid Blyton, the Saint Clair series. I read the first three books. So I'm going to put that again in good time because I did have a good time with all these books. Rivals of Sea and Sky. Yikes. Like, this was a very annoying book because it didn't even know what it was trying to be. And obviously, because of that, I didn't know what it was trying to be. It was just doing way too much and nothing all at once. And it came together to provide us with this very nothing book. Strings Attached, the third book in the Magnolia Cove series, and the second book that I read. I think this was a little better than the first one, and I had a good time with it. I really like the representation in these books, and I love the whole musical and bookish elements that these books incorporate. And this one in particular, I thought was written a lot better than the first one that I read. So yeah, Little Fires Everywhere, another one where I had a really good time. I'm not saying I had a good time because there were some like sad things going on, but I liked the book a lot and I enjoyed it for what it was. Red Queen, this was a disappointment. I thought this book was going to be like a 5-star read and it ended up being a 3-star read. So it wasn't bad, but like I didn't enjoy it as much as I would have if it was good. The Mid Wizard of Cosconia, yikes. Another book where it was just doing too much and nothing all at the same time. Seven Sisters, the first book in the Seven Sisters series by Lucinda Riley. I really, really like this book. I love the historical elements and I really like the writing as well. I thought the characters were very real and raw. I had a really good time with it. The Messenger of Olympus. I I unfortunately thought that this was a regular graphic novel, and it was in fact a children's book, like an actual children's book. It was like 30 pages long. I think this would be a good book if you have a child that is interested in like Greek mythology. I thought it was cute for what it was, honestly. I don't know if I want to rank it alongside all these books. Maybe I'll just put it in like a good time, I guess, because it is a pretty good book if you are a child that is looking for a book about Greek mythology. And apparently, this is a series, so you can get that for your child. The Porcelain Menagerie, I really like this one. It was very different from a lot of the books that I have read. And I love the historical elements and I love that it was based on real historical facts. The characters were very, very real. A lot of, mature themes, but also very realistic things happened. And I loved how it was told and portrayed in this book. So yeah, I had a good time with it. And it happened one semester. Yikes. Another queer book where it's like, why can't we get something a little deeper? Why does it have to be so lofty? Why does it have to be them starting off as, friends with benefits and them just wanting to fuck each other before it evolves to an actual friendship or relationship? Like, I don't know, I'm kind of sick of that trope, I guess. The second story bookshop, this is a book that kind of surprised me because for the first 80%, I was like, oh yeah, it's your typical, palette cleanser, contemporary romance, I guess. But the final 20% was a little like, oh, like I didn't expect this. And I bumped up my rating because of that fact. But I think it was like a good time. The Gallows Curse, yep. Yep, this is another book by Karen Maitland. I just love her writing so, so much. I think I'm really obsessed with historical fiction, especially when fantastical elements are introduced and are incorporated. I just think that is like my favorite thing ever. And so I love this book. I didn't like it as much as the first book I read by Karen Maitland, which was Falcons of Fire and Ice, but I had a really, really good time. And I enjoyed it so much. I gave it 4.5 stars. Then I listened to the fourth book in the St. Clair series, another book where I had a great time. I think this fourth book was my favorite in the whole St. Clair series. I just loved how much more depth it held. And yeah, The Mad Wife, another book where I had a really, really good time. It's a very sad and uncomfortable book tackling how women used to be treated in the 60s, I believe, but it's very typical. It's not something revolutionary or giving us any new information. I did enjoy it for what it was, and I liked our main character a lot. So yeah, The Beloved Girls. This was another letdown. I thought it was going to be so much better than it was, and unfortunately, I didn't love the structure and how the story was told. But I think I had a good time. Mm, nah, I'm going to say well because like it was okay, just nothing special and not what I expected. The River Will Take You. This was a random e-arc. Actually comes out, I think, tomorrow. It is based on Christian Egyptian mythology, I guess you can say. I really like how that was incorporated into the book. I didn't love the romance situation that we were having. They already knew each other and she already knew him when he was a literal child. It just felt a little icky. And I also do not like the incorporation of modern elements to the story, but I think it was a solid book. I think there are a lot of people that will really, really enjoy this book. And I had a good time, I think. So yeah. Hemlock Lane, yikes. It was like a 3-hour audiobook given to me by NetGalley. I find it hard to understand what the point of this book was because it was all conflict, no resolution. Basically just showing some really awfully characterized people and not giving us any like reason or any point to the story. It literally just ends so abruptly. It is a historical type of book. I think it's set in like the 80s or the 90s, I'm not too sure. I didn't love that the author, who is a white man, used the word Negroes. I thought that was just like unnecessary. Honestly, I think I'll move it to burn it because like there's no point for this book. There's no reason for it to exist. Like I feel like it's a waste. Like what is the point? Like, I don't know. I don't know, maybe I'm being a little harsh, and I did give it like 3 stars or 2.5 stars, but I don't know. Good Hair Days. This was a really good book. I really enjoyed it. It's basically just following these country girls in this small town who own this salon. We just see them try to save the salon as well as build their relationship with each other and relationship with other people. It was definitely very sad, especially at the end because we had a tragic moment happen. But yeah, I really, really liked and enjoyed it. I loved the audiobook because it was the audiobook that I listened to. Your Next Life Is Now. I had an okay time with this book. I did not love the writing, and I thought the characters were very whiny and annoying. So I'm going to put it in, well, The Christmas Ring by Karen Kingsbury. It was okay. I did not love the Christian and US military propaganda. That's all I'll say. Love and Other Thought Experiments. This was a very, very rigorous read. It is a sci-fi psychological fiction, and it was definitely very hard to read because a lot of the time I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. But I think at the end of the day I had a good time. I loved that it was commentary on the human existence and what it means to be human. The Butcher of the Forest. This was a very quick audiobook, one that I really, really enjoyed. Okay, I loved how evocative and atmospheric it was, and I loved that it was commentary on what it means to be a good person, essentially. And I can't wait to read more of this author's writing because I think she has a very strong voice. And yeah, that was a solid, solid book. I loved how short it was as well. What it means to break, yikes. This was just like, so much trauma for no reason. It's supposed to be a romance at its core. There were so many other side quests and issues that were just like portrayed in a very surface level way. And I ended up not liking it because the writing also felt very Wattpad-esque and basic and boring and not something I enjoyed. So yikes. My Fair Frauds, this was my last 5 star of 2025 and I just loved it so freaking much. Okay, a book that I can't wait to reread, and I can't wait to read the next book by these authors that comes out this year. The characters just felt so real to me, and this was an audiobook arc given to me by Net Gali. I love the narrator, she did so well. She spoke in multiple different languages with multiple different accents, and everything sounded so freaking good. She portrayed these characters so well and passionately, and I just love the book so much. I can't wait to reread it as a physical book, honestly. The Light a Candle Society, another book that I really loved, another audiobook. I didn't love the narrator of this one quite as much, but I really enjoyed this book. I actually cried multiple times during this book. It just basically tackles grief and loss and love, following this guy who started this whole foundation for people who are buried alone, people who don't have families. And yeah, it was just very, very, very sad. Miss Austen, I really liked this book. I really did. It basically just tackled Miss Austen, Miss Jane herself, and her family life, and what came of that, I guess I would say. So yeah, I like the writing a lot. I thought it was very atmospheric, and I love the old English way about it. Fish Tales. I don't want to say burn it because I think this book definitely serves a purpose, but like, so such a stupid book. Like, it had no real point to it, and the ending was like, I want to be that girl who enjoys books that have no real plot and no real point. But I am constantly like, you have to give me a purpose. You have to be saying something. And this book said nothing other than, black people and queer people are so promiscuous and are so um like erratic and so weird, especially in the 80s, I believe. It's just like I don't know, I didn't love it. I just thought it was so outlandish but also realistic, but like unnecessary. I think I'm going to move it to yikes instead of burn it because that's a bit harsh. But yeah. Evergreen Academy. I really liked this book. I loved how evocative it was. I feel like I've used that word so much, but it was definitely very evocative and immersive. And I love the incorporation of plants and flowers and nature generally because I'm a huge like nature girl. I love all of that. And yeah, I love this so much. I can't wait to continue this series. I think I'm going to put it in a good time. The Weekend on Allison Island. This was a Christian fiction, and I'm not a huge fan of like Christian books because they feel like propaganda most of the time. But I like this one a lot. I like that the characters were very realistic. I loved how these women came together to form a relationship that basically healed all of them. What I didn't love was how it was basically saying that everything can be solved with just praying, with just going down on your knees and praying. And that was the same thing that I felt for Something Good, another Christian book. I don't know why I did that to myself, honestly. I hate when people are like, oh, everything will be solved if you just get down on your knees and pray. Like, are you saying the people that do go through like harder issues, like the people that are dying all over the world, are not going down on their knees and praying? Like, do they not deserve to be saved and healed? Like, it's a whole thing that I can talk about for literally hours, but I did enjoy The Weekend on Allison Island for what it was. I had a good time with it, I think. Something good though, I'm going to put in, well, because like, oh, the writing was like very Wattpad-y. The characters felt like parodies of themselves. It felt very stereotypical, and I just did not love it, especially as much as I would have liked to. The Relic of the Wildwood. This was a book that kind of shocked me because I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. So yeah, I'm going to put it in loved because I did love it, and I can't wait for the next book in the series. The Lighthouse at the Cove, another very like palette cleanser-esque contemporary romance. I enjoyed it for what it was in the moment, but it wasn't anything special. Then I read Crooked Kingdom, the second book in the Six of Crows duology. I like this a lot more than the first one. It was still quite underwhelming and not as good as everybody claimed that it would be. I did enjoy it a lot. Okay, I had a really good time. So I'm going to put it in loved because I loved it. And I love all these characters. They're very realistic and their plot lines are very realistic as well. Long Shadow, the third book in the Regency Fairy Tales series. It was unfortunate that I didn't like this book as much as I thought that I would. I gave the first two books 5 stars. So I expected this one to be a 5 star as well, especially considering that it's sapphic. I just don't think the writing was as good and the plots and the characters didn't feel as honest to me. So I think I'm going to put it in a good time because it was in fact a good time, just not as good as the first two books. Then I listened to The Man in the Stone Cottage. This was a bit of a biography on the Bronte sisters, and it was very, very gothic and atmospheric and sad and deep and raw and just like very evocative, immersive even. And I had a really, really good time with it. I really enjoyed it and I liked it. It wasn't the best thing ever, and I thought that there were some things that could have been cut out and some things that could have been written a little bit more intentionally, but I liked it. I had a good time, I would say. Yeah, the final book I read in the year 2025, An Arcane Inheritance. I really wanted to love this book. I really did. And I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I thought the writing was pretty okay. It just ended up feeling a little all over the place and distorted. I understand that this is supposed to be a case of an unreliable narrator, but it has to make sense. It has to have a flow and a structure to it that I don't think this book necessarily had much of, but I still really liked it and I thought that it was a very good book having commentary on what it means to be a person of color, especially in very elitist and elite spaces. I also love the commentary on, privilege and power dynamics and all of that. So yeah, this is my ranking for all the books that I read in the year 2025, 115 16 books. Let me know what you think about these rankings, okay? If you have any thoughts and opinions, if you've read any of these books, let me know what your thoughts are about them. If you would like to read any of them, just talk to me down below. I love reading and replying comments. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram if you want to be book besties or just besties in general. I would really love and appreciate that. Thank you for watching the first video of 2026. I really hope you enjoy it. But for now, I will see you in the next video. Bye.